Hi there, and welcome to this month's Go to Market with Microsoft Ask Me Anything session. I'm Jordan Helling, and I'm on the Go to Market with Microsoft team. And today we have Wendy Ditmore, our Senior Go to Market through Channel and Solution Marketing Lead at Microsoft. She'll be talking through our Geo Expansion program and how this program can help support you grow your expertise, build partnerships, and support our mutual customers. Throughout this event today, please drop your questions in the chat. We have a team of go-to-market experts who will help answer your questions. I also will be moderating the session and bring many of your questions live to Wendy during the event. So I'm going to pass this over to Wendy to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Hello, everybody. There we go. We are live. So excited to join you today and talk about one of my favorite programs, Geo Expansion. I'm Wendy Ditmore, and I manage the overall strategy and execution of this program. So really excited to give you some insights and hopefully some interesting ideas about how you can expand into new markets. So with that, I thought it would be important to first start with thinking about what does geo expansion mean for you? And honestly, it can mean a number of things. You can be thinking about incorporating your business into a new market. Maybe it's about hiring your first person, starting a new partnership, actually opening an office or setting up a regional cloud or tenant in that market, thinking about your pipeline. Maybe it's building new marketing messaging, entering into our geo expansion program. All of those different things can mean geo expansion. And in talking with partners through the program over the years, we've really understood and learned more about what that looks like. And it really can mean a lot of interesting different things. We believe there's a really important shared opportunity. And before we launched this program, there was interesting feedback from our partners about how there wasn't something consistent. There wasn't really a specific core program to help them. And so it was very random in trying to land into new markets. So we thought it would be helpful and strategic to think about how do we help you as partners land in new markets with us and to do that together. When we think about what geographic expansion is as a definition, it's really an internal growth strategy in which an entrepreneurial business grows by expanding from one location to geographic sites. So we wanted to do this in a number of ways. We wanted to make sure that we help accelerate how you land into that new market. We wanted to create something that would be more predictable and consistent in a way that would really scale to help so many partners, as many partners as we can, help you secure opportunities from the competition through your solutions, and then really driving that mutual pipeline and growth in those new geographies. Now, as we've been working with partners over the last, I think, 20 months that this program's been live, we've developed and mapped out a journey of what success looks like for our partners. And there are three key large milestones that you can see there. We have activate, engage, and grow. But underneath those, there's work that happens and different activities that help support each of those milestones to get you as a business to the point where you're really profitable and successful and can feel that, yes, I can check the box. I have successfully landed and expanded into this new market. Now, if we look at what that looks like in a little more detail, milestone by milestone, there's kind of some of those key pieces. So let's kind of look through some of those details. First of all, thinking about making sure that you have a solution that is co-sell ready for the target countries you're looking to land in. It's just really important so that you're connecting the dots for our sellers. It's also important to make sure you have a solution that you've published into Marketplace. And what that does is drive visibility for customers to be able to find you in those new markets. Now, when we're thinking about your homework, let's identify who your target customers are. And one thing I would strongly recommend that we see as a best practice from our partners is identify key industries and verticals where your solution really grows and is super successful, where you have some strong customer success stories. That helps the sellers and the key target market teams know how best to work with you if there are particular target markets. And then it's about getting accepted into the Geo Expansion program. And we'll talk towards the end about where and how you can apply and to become part of our Geo Expansion program and what that looks like. Now, once you're in the program, it's time to really get engaged and think about building out a strong set of collateral and value proposition that highlights your solution and the unique value you can provide to customers localized to that key market. It's also then important to think about building out your reporting cadence and defining some of those key initial co-sell wins that you can highlight. And then it's time to showcase that. Building out a partner showcase and highlighting your initial successes and your initial customer wins. So helpful when you get the connection opportunities with Microsoft sellers or channel managers or other Microsoft stakeholders in those new countries. And then it's all about proving your co-sell impact. So trend analysis of what your pipeline looks like, perhaps for particular customer segments, particular industries where you're successful, just very helpful to do that kind of work, as well as identifying some really big wins and opportunities that you can go after. Having those target customers ready to show sellers then helps them understand how they can work with you. At that point, you really should be very engaged, and that probably can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months to kind of move through this phase. At that point, you should hopefully be starting to really grow your business. At that point, maybe you're thinking about opening a target country headquarters. Maybe you're increasing the headcount and investing. Maybe you're hopefully turning a real profit and driving market share in that market, as well as having some strong wins that you can highlight. And at that point, maybe you can be thinking about, okay, we've been successful in this country. Where is our next target market that we want to grow in? I would definitely caution partners to think about key markets in terms of a handful. Doing 1 to 3 markets at a time is much better than spreading yourself thin and trying to grow across, let's say, 20 different countries. It's just really a best practice from what we've experienced with our partners to target specific markets at a time, which is why when you go apply to be a part of the program, we only ask you to highlight the top 3 countries that you want to grow in so that we can help you target those specifically. Now, there are different ways you can drive your journey, and it's important to think about what your motivations are, what your goals are, and how much you're willing to invest. And there are different models to think about how you can grow into those new markets. So let's kind of walk through some of these here. The first, and I think a lot of the lowest risk level, especially for partners who are thinking about kind of exploring a new market and kind of scoping out the pipeline opportunity there, is the fly in, fly out method. That means you're taking a lot of business trips, and probably not as possible at this time of COVID, but at the time where countries start opening up, this can be an interesting place where you want to go fly in to work on specific customer opportunities and start to really scope that. Some partners then think about that P2P connection and selling through local partners in that market. In fact, interesting data point, over 85% of the partners who are in our Geo Expansion program today sell through a P2P partner-to-partner connection and use local partners. And that really helps because they're already connected. They've mastered the local business culture, taxes and laws. They have their local salespeople. The challenge there is you have to help train that local partner on what your solution is, how to position it with customers. So there are balances and trade-offs to the kind of cost that it associates with that. Many partners love to relocate and incorporate. And what that means is you are taking some of your key local experts from your host country and you are moving them to become expatriates in that new country. The value in that is, of course, this set of people who are willing to pick up and move to this new country, they already have the expertise of your business and your solution and your value proposition. There's high cost, though, in relocating and setting that up. And there also is high cost in trying to work to build fresh new pipeline and drive visibility of your solution. The highest cost, but also sometimes the highest reward, can be then to incorporate and hire locally. This is often best for partners who have solutions that are really complex, have a long sales cycle, and take a lot of work to really deploy and land the solution with customers. This also means, though, that you're collecting from local people who have the expertise, the networking, and the commitment to succeed from that local market. So while it may be the highest cost and also include a lot of high risk, it can also be highly rewarding. So each of these different models are things to think through. And we have a white paper as part of our program that is a really interesting, detailed view across each of these different ways of expanding into new markets that I would encourage you to read through. Very helpful information. Once you've figured out how you're going to get there, there are two pieces of your story that are important to have ready. And the first is really about thinking through what your Microsoft story is for when you can engage with Microsoft sellers, channel managers, and all kinds of different stakeholders. So here are a few of the different ones that we have, and I'll just kind of make sure that we have them fully loading up here. Okay. Defining your value proposition. Of course, as a go-to-market person, it's dear to heart for me. It's important to have that clear, crisp story. And in fact, some partners build what I would call a battle card. This is just that one-pager overview that says, here's who our business is, where we're based, where we're targeting, what our solution is, maybe what Microsoft platforms and part of the stack that you're based on, who your target customers are. It may highlight some customer wins. So really having that crisply defined across a number of those things is just so helpful. It's also important to think about how you align your value proposition to Microsoft's scorecard. So we're measured on revenue attainment across each of the different clouds that we drive with customers. So making sure you can highlight for sellers how your solution helps drive scorecards with them, it creates what I mentioned here, the better together story. It's also important to map out what your partner ecosystem looks like, whether you're a P2P connection maker to drive your business in those new markets, or if you have your locations across multiple countries. So mapping that out and highlighting what your ecosystem looks like, very important. It's also good to know what your co-sell record looks like. How many co-sell wins, how many opportunities have you driven? And do you have some of those big wins that you would want to highlight? Sellers get very excited when they see that, and it's a way to measure what your success and your investment looks like. It's also important to map out the markets where you have sales support or local partners. A lot of target market teams are looking at how much investment have you made for sales feet on the street in those markets? So being able to articulate that for sellers or for channel managers or other stakeholders is just really helpful. It's also good to have that pipeline ready. So thinking about your opportunities that you've lined up, as well as highlighting where you might need help, and asking for that help is really helpful. Now, tying to Microsoft scorecard point up above there, it's also great to be able to show how your solution impacts ACR, or Azure Consumed Revenue. Huge point, very important to Microsoft, being able to show if your solution works with Azure, how it drives that. Then also thinking about the Microsoft account list, and these are the top accounts targeted by market. If you have customers that line up as part of that account list, it's great to highlight that with Microsoft sellers. Make sure you have that clean and really polished marketplace or app source listing so that customers are very visible. And one thing I think that is just so important in these times, have video. Using just a short video that provides an overview of who you are and what your solution is, great opportunity and an easy, quick way to drive amplification of who you are with Microsoft stakeholders. A lot there. Let's also talk about, okay, what do we need to do to get ready our story for the target market? You know, there's different things to think about when you think about landing in new markets. And I'll click through here and highlight a bunch of different points. And all of this is content that we can help you with. And we have resources and templates and tools that help you think through these different things. First of all, it's really important to figure out what the right approach is for each country. It's definitely not the same when you go from the US to Germany, for instance. So making sure you have that clear, localized collateral and approach, even your business approach, so important. Thinking about what the story is for your different audiences is another piece of localization that I think partners can tend to forget. What is a pain point for a customer in one part of the world can be very different and not even a pain point of interest to a customer in a different part of the world. So making sure you do your research and have the right stories for the right audiences, very helpful. It's also great to have case studies, preferably that are based on some local wins. If you can do that, that helps just create that resonating understanding and that connection for customers in that market. Doing things like seminars or webinars, even short ones, can be really interesting, and connection to video again as a way to drive visibility of your solution in those markets. And then also doing a lot of networking, both personally as well as on social platforms like LinkedIn, can be very helpful in driving customer leads in those markets. I'd also think about humanizing your brand, making sure people feel that personal connection, that they can trust you as a solution provider, just really is a powerful tool and a powerful way to have a strong story. And it's also good to think about partner collaboration tools. How are you going to connect if you're driving this through P2P motion? What are the kind of tools that you will collaborate through with those local partners? I've covered a lot there. There is a lot of material and different resources and ways that we can help you. And our Geo Expansion program thinks about how you prepare from both the Microsoft side of the story as well as how you prepare when you land in market. So hopefully these different things to think through kind of have got you interested perhaps in joining our program. So let's talk a bit more about how the program works. And I, of course, forgot one, white papers. White papers can be an interesting tool as well. So with our program, we're working to help you grow by having that predictable experience that lands you and accelerates you to grow your business in the target markets that you identify. We also provide a lot of guidance and templates and best practices that help you align your solution as part of that target markets strategy and their co-sell motion. We then also work to provide you access to expertise and our go-to-market benefits that help you showcase your solution, driving that visibility of your solution in the market. And we do that again through those 3 key milestones that I talked about at the beginning with our journey. So we have the activate phase, which is really about driving capacity in the target market, having your value proposition ready, any gaps in your solution, as well as having a very crisp and strategic expansion plan. Then it's in engagement. It's about how to make those connections with target market stakeholders, whether it's Microsoft or with customers, using a really strong go-to-market plan that helps to prioritize your solution in the right co-sell opportunities in that market. And then finally, with growth, it's about getting connected into those different communities and events to really scale visibility and get your solution, your brand known amongst the partner community who might want to work with you, the customer community so that they would like to purchase with you, and then also the Microsoft community so that they can connect and work with you for that co-sell motion. Now, as part of this program, once you apply and join, we provide you access to a new digital Geo Expansion portal that we've created. In this portal, which is accessible only if you're part of the program, are key benefits and different tools organized again by each of those milestones in the journey. So this is a dedicated portal for all of our onboarded partners, of which today we have about 1,000 partners who are accessing and using the content. We've organized all of our white papers, our templates, some data analysis tools. All of it is organized to guide you through this activate to engage to grow journey. We also, as you can see there, have a schedule of all of our webinars and events. For instance, tomorrow we're hosting a webinar specifically focused on go-to-market best practices and how you can localize and strategically shape your materials to target specific markets. And we're doing that with a field expert on go-to-market practices. We then also have something that I'm personally excited about, which is a podcast series. There are 4 different podcasts. They're short, maybe 15 minutes, where I highlight some of the best practices and ideas and things we've learned from partners about what works well and what pitfalls to avoid, things that you really shouldn't do unless you have some key expertise or a specific reason. So these podcasts are kind of an interesting way to gather some insights and learn more and just kind of get engaged in the program. So hopefully all of this will be information that will be helpful. Now, there are a lot of digital tools that we've created and we've been building out and curating as part of the experience. One of the things I wanted to highlight here is we have an agency guide. So there are a lot of field experts out there who can help you in addition to us at Microsoft to grow into new markets. Many of them focus on different pivots that can be from driving your geo expansion business plan to how to make some of those P2P connections to help resell your solution. We also have a group who's very particularly an expert in landing in Asia markets, where it can be there can be some key challenges, and they're really an expert in how to unlock those markets across Asia. And then we also have our agency who can help with the go-to-market, building out your content and your strategy, as well as thinking through some campaigns. And they can help you think through the go-to-market benefits as well that we provide access for you. We then have a lot of these digital tools. We have things like a sample case study template that you can use, a sample battle card that I mentioned earlier that helps you outline your solution into a one-page view for when you get those connections with sellers or channel managers. We have an ROI estimator tool as well as that target market industry analysis tool. And with these, you can plug in some numbers or pivot on numbers to understand what your opportunity looks like and what your return on investment looks like when you land in specific markets. We also have what I would call a target market resource guide. So we've been working across each of the 14 areas around the world, and we've been collecting information, whether it's partner hubs that partners can go land in, community calls to sign up for, and often it's just about how do I navigate to the local resources and news and people that are working in that specific market. So for the UK, for instance, they have a community call there that you can go join through the link that we've provided. Or there are these partner hubs country by country. If we think about Western Europe, for example, there are, I think, 13 or 14 countries as part of that Western Europe collective group. There are partner hubs country by country. So if you're thinking about landing in Sweden, for instance, there's a great partner hub there that helps you learn what kind of events are happening, what their strategy is all about, if there are newsletters or community calls to join. So we've put all that together. All of this lives on that digital portal in this new organized fashion that we think will be helpful for everybody. I wanted to share we have a lot of different logos of what success looks like, and success can be very different partner by partner. This is just a set of partners and examples that targeted out of different Asia countries and landing in across all of the world, really. We have partners who've landed in the US, Middle East, Africa, UK, parts of Latin America, India, and each of them had different motions in how they wanted to grow into those new markets. Many of them leveraged some of our agencies to help them, whether it was doing that P2P connection like Zopa from Singapore, or driving their strategic framework to land from New Zealand to come into the US and LATAM, which you can see from 11 Ants Analytics. Some of them, like MailGuard, they've been very aggressively growing across a number of countries, and they have some exciting partner agreements with Crayon, and they're going to be driving revenue in terms of 1 million in just the first year, and are expecting to grow to 3 million in revenue by year 3. So really exciting to see these kinds of success. And a specific example I love to call out is Namagu. They were a smaller startup based in Israel. They wanted to target the US. Fun fact, the US is the top requested market as part of our Geo Expansion program. The top 4 would round out with the UK, Germany, and Australia. All 4 of these countries are tough to break into. There are a lot of partners already in place. Resources can be fairly thin on how you can get engaged in those new markets. So seeing Namagu have a lot of success and double their wins year over year as part of our program was just really exciting to see. They are now a managed partner out of the US, which in my mind is kind of the gold standard and one of the biggest achievement goals I know our partners want to see happen for themselves. So key next steps that I want to highlight here, and then we'll see if there are questions. First of all, it's a great idea to go prepare. We have a lot of initial guidance and steps on how to get started, and you can go there to our landing page, which is the GTM Geo Expansion link. And what I'd recommend starting with is taking a readiness assessment. This helps you identify where you're strong or maybe where you need more work that you need to do across a number of different stages and pieces of the overall strategy puzzle. At the end of that, you can get a 30-minute free consultation with one of our field experts who can walk you through where some things are that you might want to focus on. If you're ready to start and you want to go access our program, you can join via the link that you'll see there, the Digital Geo Expansion application link. The link to that is also available, of course, from our landing page. So you can apply there. It gives you a quick overview of what the requirements are for the program, and essentially what we're asking for is a partner who has a solution that's listed on Marketplace or AppSource, that has a co-sell ready solution and has identified those key markets that they want to grow in. And then also join our community, get connected. We do a lot there on our community forum site where we are connecting and answering questions. We have partners share some of their best practices. We highlight different webinars and opportunities there. So make sure to check that out as well. At this point, I don't have any additional content, and I want to see if there are any questions from our group. And just as I look at our live event Q&A, I'm not seeing anything in the channel. So I'll just pause here to see if we have any questions.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions either, Wendy. Just as you were speaking and during this time, this global pandemic, I'm sure there could be some hesitation to even think about moving into a new market. What is the opportunity and what are some best practices maybe that you've seen other partners doing during this time?
That's a really good point. In fact, I would say in the last 6 months, we've definitely seen a slowdown of partner investment to grow into new markets. However, I will say that our Asia particular markets are opening up a little faster than the rest of the world. And in fact, our Asia Microsoft stakeholders have been really ramping up to get ready for that expected increase of engagement into those markets. So if you're thinking about growing into Asia, now is starting to be a really good opportunity. If you're not ready to expand into new markets just yet because of what we're seeing happen, it's a great time to think about polishing your value proposition, really getting your strategy crisp and ready to go, maybe doing the readiness assessment to see if there are any gaps in your plan, and thinking about what your landing strategy will look like. Will it be that partner to partner connection? Will it be a fly in, fly out method once things are open enough and you're feeling comfortable to travel? Will you do things like incorporation? So there's great research that you can do now to be ready as things start to open up. And as I said, Asia, things are opening up a little bit more over there, and we are seeing increased interest both from partners as well as our marketing and stakeholders from Microsoft in that market area. So I would definitely recommend. Great time to do a lot of preparation, as well as perhaps just building up that cash reserve so that you can do those investments when you're ready and doing your research, but also thinking about Asia.
Great tips and recommendations. One other question on the value proposition and all the work that should be done there. I'm on the go-to-market desk, and so I know how important a super strong, concise, complete value proposition is. Within your resources, have you done any workshops, any other resources on how, if you're just getting started to build out your value prop or need to work on it, what resources are available through the program?
Yes, definitely. We have some great templates that you can use as a partner if you haven't really done work around building out your value proposition. So we have some templates that can walk you through how to build it. There's some great questions where it's more of a worksheet format that you answer each of those questions, and then you use that at the end to build your final value proposition. We also have, again, what some people call the battle card, which I find such an odd term, but this is basically it's a one-page summary that highlights who you are as a partner, what your solution is, and a great place to plug in what your value proposition is once you do that work using our value prop template. I'll also highlight that with some of our agencies and through our own go-to-market benefits, we can certainly help you with preparing some of your collateral and work. And Transcends as an agency who we highlight in our portal, they can help you build out your value proposition in a really crisp way that localizes well to match the pain points and the needs of customers in those different target markets.
Great. Is language a limitation through the program?
We really focus, so our content and our focus really sits in English. We do have a lot of great agencies who can help connect, whether you're targeted more for the Europe region. We have an agency there who can help partners in local language across those different markets. We also have our Asia market entry, and they have a lot of connected local resources to help with language in those countries as well. But generally speaking, our content is all based in English. And then we just help point to outside field resources that can help from that language perspective.
Great. Is the readiness assessment in English as well, or is that available in?
It is in English. I believe you can pivot it into 10 different languages when you go into the assessment, that it will localize into 10 different languages today.
Great.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Really quiet chat today, but thank you, Wendy, so much for joining us. Please, if there are more questions after this, please join the community, ask questions. We have both the Geo Expansion community, which lives as part of the GTM partner community. I'm also, Wendy, going to put a survey link in here. Would love to hear what our audience thought of this session, so we can continue to evolve and build these sessions out that meet your needs.
And I'll just put a shameless plug in. We have our Geo Expansion webinar tomorrow that will be running focused around go-to-market strategy, value proposition, localizing your message for key markets. If you want to get an invitation to that, you can email us at geoexp@microsoft.com, and I'll put that in the chat here for anyone to reach out and come join us. It's an hour webinar session. Should be a really interesting discussion.
Great, Wendy, and I did put the link to that session as an announcement. It looks like it lives on the community events in MPC.
Yes, it does.
So
awesome, thank you.
That in here. Yeah.
Good. All right.
Great. Thanks again, Wendy.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your day.